So this knife doesn't need any introduction, does it? How you doing, guys? We have the Grayman Satu to talk about today. So let's talk about it. This knife has been discontinued already, and what a pity it is. Really. First of all, let me tell you that after handling many knives, I believe this is the first folder that is truly, well, it's not the first folder, but it's one of the few folders that it's truly a survival and perhaps even tactical folder. And it's made out of 20 CV, titanium on one side, titanium liner on the other, G10 backspacer, G10 handle on the other side, and a very functional clip. A bit tight, depending on the thickness of your pocket. It's got jimping on the blade and on the handle. It's rather aggressive jimping, a little bit unnecessary, I think, well, at least for me, on the handle. But overall, man, what a beautiful recurve. And this, I think, also is one of the goat grinds ever. It's got, what was the thickness? It's a pretty thick blade. So 5 millimeters in thickness. Let's see, that would be 0.19 inches in thickness. 0.18 inches, 19 inches, give or take, in thickness. But it comes down really to a 0.03, 0.02 behind the edge, 0.02 behind the edge. And it's just, it really is a slicing machine. This thing cuts beautifully. Also, the flow of this folder, I don't know if you're seeing well, but as you can see, it is contoured on the edges, and it has a hump in the middle of the handle, but that continues on to the blade. So it's like a couple of hills, couple of humps on the back of the blade, and together with the recurve, and it's just a very a wonderful flow in the ergos of the knife. So it's very pleasing in that sense, both ergonomically and aesthetically. Apart from that, like I mentioned, the grind of this thing is just, it's a drop point with a recurve, and just a beautifully made, how it thins down, how it just tapers down and thins down towards the edge. The action of this thing is smooth. It runs on washers, and also, if I remember correctly, it uses the bushing system like the Sabenza. So that's why it makes it just so smooth to open, and the closing, you got to be careful, because otherwise, yeah, this could be a guillotine. So the action is very smooth. It's a very secure knife. You can see here it's a frame lock, but the contact of the frame with the blade, it's about 1.5 centimeters, And the lock bar is just huge. I'm not sure what the diameter would be. Here, I believe it tapers down, but that's not the real diameter. The real diameter is right there. So it's a very, very secure knife. The tension and the precision are just really exact. Geez, it's hard to see. We live in an era where we see great models being taken out of the market or being discontinued, right? And we have a bunch of other things that are flooding the market. And I'm not saying that they're bad, but they are not this. They are not this type of knife, of folder. And although they may be good knives, I wish they would bring back knives like this, knives like the hard used knives that Zero Tolerance used to have. But we live in a different era. What can we say, right? So this is the precursor or the predecessor of Medford. And man, if you ask me, if I had to choose between one or the other, I would always choose the Satu, definitely. The stonewash is beautiful on the blade. It's very well done. There is a minor thing that, a couple of things that I'm not fascinated by, and that has always been a thing for me, and that is the position of the thumb studs. As you can see, they get in the way of the cutting path. So that's one of the things. That's also one of the problems I had, if I'm not mistaken, with the AD15, which is my favorite AD from Cold Steel. That just the studs got in the way of the cutting path, and that's just one of the things that jumps out, and I don't really like that. The other thing about the studs is the height of the studs. They're too tall, and depending on how tight the pocket is or the shape of your pocket, sometimes they, as you're pulling out, they might get stuck in the pocket. So that's another thing that you got to take into consideration. I already talked about the jimping on the handle, which, it doesn't bother me, and depending on if this is focused in a more survival, tactical scenario, then the jimping is fine. But, well, I'm no expert in that area, just being up in the mountain perhaps and doing normal stuff, but not surviving per se. And another thing that makes me, well, gotta tell you, I'm not gonna be keeping this one. And the only reason is, there are two reasons. One, out of necessity, that we all do this. We gotta let go of some of the pieces in many occasions because of necessity. And the second one is the recurve. Although I love a good recurve, and they're so elegant when they're well executed, like here. But and I know how to sharpen with traditional ceramic stones or Japanese whetstones. But, I've gotten to the point where I have to be sharpening quite often in different, whether it's an axe or a machete or a hatchet or a folder or a slip joint. And so, apart from those that some people send me, so, this just represents a little bit more of challenge. Of course, it can be done, but That's the second reason. And the third reason why I'm gonna let go of it is because it's a toss in the air. Whenever I need to sell something to gather cash, I put up in my wall certain things that certain pieces of my collection up for sale. And the first one, or the first and second that go, well, I just let go of them. And this was the only one that has sold as of yet, and so I had to just let go of this one. This one's gonna go to Spain, and I'm very happy about that. It's a unique folder, a colossal folder. I see this as a colossus. It's just fantastic. It's a really fantastic, potent folder with a great cutting edge. And what do you guys think? I think we should, because it also depends on each and every one of us. It depends on the consumers as well, right? If we keep on buying cheap, what's the word? Just if we keep on buying out of all of these knives that are flooding the market, generic, that's the word I was looking for. We keep on buying generic knives. How can we bring back things that are more worthy of being in the present, like the Grayman Satu? And just a comparison to show you guys, this is the Civivi. This is a great design by Kim Oh-young, I think. The Synergy. This is the Synergy 4. This had been done by We. I don't know if it was the Model 2 or Model 1, but it was too small for me. And I loved it, but it was too small. And this size, well, this size is a whole different thing. And here you can see, this is the Spyderco Military. So you can see it dwarfs both of them really in thickness, and it's about, I'm not sure in inches, but it's about 3.5 millimeters longer than the Military. So it's a pretty big folder. And last but not least, gotta throw in the Hinderer XM18 3.5, and there you can see just how colossal it is. But then again, I think these are the knives that we should in some way be asking to get back in the market. Professor EDC out.